I welcome you to the PMO Strategies podcast. This podcast, mm, Strategic Corner podcast, is managed by PMO Strategies, the company and the entity which is essentially strategic project management driven advancements and help businesses to move in the strategic directions. The purpose of this endeavor is to help businesses and the professionals to move with force and with confidence and face the challenges which is there with the disruptive and uh, uh, the challenges one is facing in the market. So, PMO strategies, I'm going to take you through this area in four areas. First, I'm going to bring you more introduction to PMO strategies, myself, and then what is the purpose of the podcast. Then, what are the strategic and complexities business complexities which are being faced by the businesses and the professionals in the present time. Then our learned guest, who is Mr. Thomas Walenta, very extensive, having very extensive exposure to project management and business industry. Very learned person. I'm really thankful to Thomas that he took out time and shared his knowledge and experience with me and with the participants for their advancement in the business and advancement in the career. So this is how I'm going to take you through. So strategic project management essentially is an entity which is helping businesses to move in a strategic direction, and in that way, it is helping the organizations to move with the strategic uh, competence and power of the project management. Uh, so I'm going to take you through introduction of PMO strategies, then the purpose of the podcast, then the insights of the uh, uh, experience of the speaker and the guidance for movement in the advancement in the present time. And then finally, I'm going to share with you what services are provided by PMO strategies. So this is how we are going to go through. Here is the purpose of the project of the PMO strategies. Essentially, the endeavor is to help businesses and professionals to gain confidence and face the present time disruption and uncertainty, and to build their career and the businesses on the stronger footings with the help of the knowledge given by the speakers. So this is the purpose, and I'm going to put two questions to the learned speaker and capture his experience and learnings for advancements and for businesses to move on. So here is my introduction. I'm Aslam Mirza. Assalamu alaikum. I'm PMO Strategies founder and CEO. Uh, my extensive exposure includes construction project management. I have spent about 20 plus years in construction, and I would, instead of going into my exposure to the business industry, I would like to draw your attention to my four books, where I have captured my experience and learnings into those areas. And these books are essentially written under the theme of Aura. Aura is AURA. A goes for applying project management principles for organizational transformation. U goes for understanding human factors and workplace environment. R goes for respecting diversity, building teams, meaningfulness, and growing to leadership. And again, O that goes for agility in project management and collaboration. So these four areas of learning and having the knowledge of these areas, I believe that the individual and the team can reach to a level where they can effectively help the organizations to move, not only the organizations but to their personal career as well. And this aura essentially is yeah, is a very strong, has got a very strong background, because this aura is essentially is a distinctive atmosphere surrounding of energy surrounding a person or a team who have acquired this knowledge and experience. So with that energy, I wish you all to move in your career and your businesses with all the force. Then all the best and good luck to you. Here, I have learned person, Mr. Thomas Walenta, who is fellow of PMI, PGM, Program Management Professional, and PMP. He has very extensive exposure. He has spent his most of the time in with IBM, and he was chief for a major area of the globe. Without failing, I would request Dr. Valenta to please share his experience and exposure for the benefit of the listener, so that I do not miss out anything which is important for them to learn. Thomas Valenta, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mirza. And setting up this kind of podcast, building up a network and bringing the expertise of many global experts is something I commend you for. You did put a lot of effort and a lot of thought uh, in preparing for these, and we discussed this a little bit forward. So to extend on your uh, kind introduction, thank you very much. I'm living in Germany, and I was born in Germany, and I mostly lived and worked in Germany. But yes, I have a business experience through IBM, where I worked in the end as a program manager and a project manager and a PMO lead for more than 30 years. And also, I was a volunteer, a global volunteer for PMI, Project Management Institute, which also led me to cover jointly with IBM work, more than 100 countries in the world. And I missed Pakistan though until now.
Too bad.
Too bad, too bad. So
Yeah.
maybe I will come back. So my
Yeah.
my first project actually was as an apprentice at IBM. I was a working student, and it was in 1974. So now it's 51 years and that I did my first project. It was an easy project from today's view, because it was just me and myself on that project. But later on, I managed projects with 150 and more people, and especially when it came to programs, these are the very big and really complex endeavors, and I would never call these kind of programs projects, though this is being done. So yeah, you can read this. I invite you to go to my LinkedIn page, Thomas Valenta. There are not many Thomas Valentas on LinkedIn, but you can link there and connect with me, or even read some of my articles and documents I have put in there with my thoughts on diverse things. So, like how to build a PMO, how how to become more a wise person to survive anything in the world, and even if you are a CEO, the main point as a CEO is to build on your wisdom, which includes your resilience and your serenity and your ability to handle every situation that comes up to you. And as a CEO, many situations will come up to you. As a project manager, in contrast, if you are an old-fashioned project manager, you try to have a upfront definition of your project, of your charter, of your scope, and you try to keep it preserved and fix it in time, and hopefully deliver at the end to that what you thought at the beginning. This is not how the world works today, because your change become a little bit more accelerated, and project managers have to deal with frequent change, and they don't like it normally, because it's hard enough to build a project to deliver something, but yeah, you have to look at the world, and the CEO, he might um, encounter challenges every week, and have to deal with that. Actually, when I was building my first PMO in Cologne for an insurance company, it was in '95. The CEO came to me and said, Thomas, what I want from you is that PMO reduce the time I have to spend on project escalations, because we have about 100 projects going on at one time. And every week I get at least 2 or 3 or 4 calls from uh, dissatisfied customers who say, okay, your project managers are not doing a good job. And then, I have to talk to them. I have to dig into that. I have to help solve the problem. It eats up a lot of my time, that I have to deal with these escalations. And the target I was charged with building PMO is to reduce the time he spends on escalation. So this is a quite unusual target for a PMO, because normally you say, okay, portfolio management or visibility, transparency, and health of projects. All this was coming, yes, but the purpose, really, the target was to reduce his time he has to spend on bad projects. So this is how I developed over time. Having a PMO, um, and from 2002, I was in IBM Global Business. I was in charge of a big program of IBM with the company of Panasonic, which led me to travel a lot to Japan, and also to India, where we had some outsourcing teams. So I had a big team in Pune of 120 people, and we had a lot of discussions with Panasonic in their headquarters in Osaka, in Japan. So I traveled the world for IBM and for Panasonic a lot. And that was, as we started before that thing, you said, okay, Thomas, I saw you were on vacation in Japan just recently. Yeah, just 3 weeks ago. I came back, and the purpose of that was because I'm retired, and some of my colleagues at IBM are retired, and many of these Panasonic managers are retired, actually. So what we did, as retired persons, we organized for a meeting of retirees in Japan. So we met a lot of nice former Panasonic managers and IBM managers, Japanese. And I must say, I love Japan. It's the food is excellent. And I'm coming from Europe. I see Italian food, and I see French food, which also are excellent, and Spanish food. But the Japanese food is outstanding, and they are so quality oriented. All these quality movements came out of Japan. So we can learn a lot from Japan. So maybe the first advice, for any CEO in a company looking for that, go and find out other cultures. Go and find out about the diversity. Humanity has to provide you with tools to handle any situation, and travel a lot, and maybe do some business abroad.
Just great. Very right. You have very timely pointed out that traveling brings a lot of learning, and especially to different cultures, because once somebody understands the values and the requirements of other culture, then only one can manage the business in a more effective manner. And that's the biggest challenge in the present time. Well, very right. Thank you very much, Thomas. You have shared all this, and I really appreciate that you are. But one thing I would like to mention here, that the good thing is that knowledge has got no retirement. So that's the beauty of it. So
Yeah,
you are continuing learning, and you are still energetic, and you are still available to put in your best for moving things and helping business and be helping professionals. That's the great of it, and that's the reason that the knowledge never gets retired. Oh, yeah,
that's true. But all the knowledge I gathered over the last 50 years, it was a little punctual here, there, depending on the project, on the
yeah,
customer.
yeah.
But as you get older, you think about it. It gets a little bit more balanced and leveled out. So actually, what I'm now, my latest journey. Maybe I should share this. I entered a program in a university in Zurich, and I'm working towards my DBA, which is a PhD for practical people. So I'm in the process of writing my DBA thesis, and being a global person, my DBA mentor, so the guy who is leading me through the process, he is a professor from Hong Kong.
Ah,
A German studying in a Swiss university, led by a professor from Hong Kong. You can see that is globalization at work.
yeah, yeah, very right. So if when I am calling you Dr. Thomas, I'm not wrong, and I didn't make
No,
mistake.
no,
Yeah.
no, you are dead wrong because I'm not yet a doctor.
Well,
maybe
you
maybe
are
in
in that process.
maybe I'm in that process, but until the process is finished, I'm not a doctor.
Well, never mind. In advance, by mistake, I can call you.
Yeah, well, actually, I was a professor before,
Uh,
um, so even until COVID came, I had the time to spend 20 years in university teaching.
oh, just hold on a minute. About COVID, we are going to talk about more in detail with you for the business advancement. So let me share the very important area of business complexities so that people can understand what really is necessary for the businesses to manage. Because managing business complexities is the most challenging in the present time of uncertainty and perpetual disruption. These complexities have been framed out by me in four areas. Those are external, internal, operational, and strategic. In the external area, these includes global market volatility, technology changes, regulatory landscape, increasing competition, climate change, cybersecurity, geopolitical uncertainty, supply chain disruption. And in the internal area, it includes talent acquisition and retention, DI and B, that is diversity, equity, inclusivity, and belonging, organizational culture and engagement, digital transformation, informed decision making, leadership development, change management, communication breakdowns. In the operational area, it includes managing remote workforce, streamlining processes, quality control, managing logistics, customer satisfaction, adapting artificial intelligence and blockchain, managing intellectual property, mitigating risk. In the strategic arena, it includes innovating business model, identifying new markets, building strategic partnership, managing mergers and acquisition, competitive advantage, fostering innovation and research and development, managing global expansion, sustainable business strategies. So all these complexities are there which are required to be managed in an effective manner for the advancement and for the smooth flow of business. So businesses are under pressure, and on top of all this, the perpetual disruption and continued uncertainty. Under that scenario, how to manage things to move on is the basic challenge. Here, the first question to you, Thomas, is that how are you managing business advancements in the prevalent challenges of business complexities, particularly after COVID-19? And what is how you were able to help the businesses and help um, um, uh, the management of the company? So that is the first area. Please share your experience.
Yeah, though first, once I had an invitation by a CEO of a company, and actually he was asking, you are an expert in project management, so I want to explore with you how I could use project management in my company. And as you see on your picture, project management uh, is very often considered an internal complexity or internal capability. Digital transformation, as you put down there, is talking about big programs and big projects. Change management is also, let's say, a a task within project management. Certainly, you might have all the projects together with with clients, which would be on the external side. But a lot of projects I've seen at IBM and many companies also dealing with themselves, they are seeing the project management in the internal tower you depicted there. But this CEO I visited, and he asked me, okay, where can I use project management? He told me very clearly. So my task as CEO is on the left, on the external side,
Hmm.
because
Okay.
I'm really dealing with the environment, with all what you mentioned there. Global market. What is my market? It was only active in Europe, but it was a European market. What kind of technologies are interesting, are evolving. He's visiting all the conferences. He's talking in CEO circles. And it's really something that he said, okay, I have a COO who is taking care about the operations, and I put this together with him, the COC and CEO and COO and the CFO and whatever they have for the C-suite, they put together jointly a strategy for the organization, and that's the right hand part. But the CEO focuses on the left hand side, and that's also true. Let me not say for project managers, but for program managers. So if you look at the program, you have a context of a program. So there are, even if they are similar, there is not the same approach to a similar task. It always depends on what, on the context, on the external uh, changes that are there. Even if you start a project today, let's say, and you fix a scope and you think, okay, there I want to go, and this should be the benefits I want to reach within, let's say, 2 years would be a good time frame for a program. Many are longer, then during these 2 years, the external environment will change. The internal environment must not change. Maybe you can keep it stable and fixed, but the external environment definitely will change. And you have to observe it. You have to understand, is it impactful on your business, and then you have to look at the external environment and react. Be adaptive. Be agile if you want, as an organization. Um, and the points you put there, these are the challenges or complexities that hits all the companies in the world right now. And sometimes, research is calling them the grand challenges, like climate change or global supply chain disruptions. Grand challenges, how to deal with them. And the point is, the left hand side represents not solutions, it represents well, problems. We don't know what to do, and it comes quickly. And so it's not really that it's to be handled by projects, because in a project you always have maybe a business case, a charter, you have a target where you want to go to, you somehow know how to get there in a process, and you follow that path, and you are measured by how well you are meeting the budget and the timelines and the quality. But grand challenges, global climate change. Do we know what to do? Yeah, maybe some things, but does it work that we avoid climate change? No, no, So it's a continuous changing environment and changing solutioning scope, and that's what a CEO is doing. He is working in a much more volatile environment than a project manager. But if a CEO wants to have some help, and wants to have somebody deal with the more stable stuff, with the automatic stuff like operations. If you create some products, build a car or whatever, customer relationships and this one, then you have somebody there who is good in running an operations efficiently. Efficiently means that you invest in cost and money, and the output is very well balanced. While on the other hand, if you have the external side, maybe you try out something and it fails. So this invest is wasted. You have a lot of more waste on the external side than on the internal, or operational side. And the strategy is somehow, that you find ways. It's not that you have one strategy, you must have a lot of strategies, because on the external side a lot of different scenarios could happen. And then for each of these scenarios you have to have a scenario, like, if that happens, what to do next. And you can think about it in before, and these are your pool of strategies you have pre-planned, maybe like a firefighter. A firefighter, he comes to a disaster place, and then they have some principles. First save lives, then put out the fire, then other steps. But in the end, every case is unique, and you have to go there, and you have to draw on your strategies you have developed and you have trained. So hopefully your good firefighting force is well trained and well aware of what to do in which situations. But the situations occur on the external side, on the context side, and the internal and operational side is that what helps you to be good at what you do, have your capabilities, your competencies, your knowledge, your intellectual property, your assets, whatever. And the strategic side is how to make sure that you can uh, preserve this internal operational side into the future, regardless what happens on the external side.
Just great. Very right. You have very rightly mentioned that change management essentially is the basic things which needs to be managed. And with that, you can you really help the businesses to move on in this tough time, and they get prepared for the future. That's great. Thank you very much for your knowledge and experience shared with us. Let me go to the next question. That is, what is your viewpoint for the businesses and particularly to the professionals to manage to move to the next level in performance?
Well, I think next level of performance in a business and context, could be translated to how to live a good life, how to cope with every situation you can encounter. If it's sickness, if it's death in family, if it's other things that could disrupt your life. And the answer to that, is not only resilience, the ability to get up if you are pulled down, if you fall down, but it's actually this is what we're doing from learning from very early age. A baby, before it can walk, maybe it falls down 10,000 times. So it's developing a knowledge over time by trial and error, and that's what we do. And if you get older, if you get more stable environment, you are developing the same capabilities. You're learning to fall down and get up. That's resilience. But uh, performance is maybe more than that. Performance is that you create a stable environment, and some leaders do that. Remember Steve Jobs in Apple, and then we have the new CEO. He's also there for 15 years or so, after the death of Steve Jobs. So they created a stable environment, in the strategic manner and in the cultural manner. So culture is a very stable environment that helps really not only to be resilient, but to continually grow in a context. Give you another example. One of my customers was Panasonic, and Panasonic was founded about 1915 by a guy called Matsushita, and so he led the company. He grew the company in the electric space. They're doing everything around electric, and in front of the headquarters of Panasonic in Osaka, there is a statue of Thomas Edison. you know Interesting. So because they said, okay, without Thomas Edison we wouldn't be what we are. We are the electric company of Japan. But what Matsushita did in 40 years, he grew his company, but he also cared about the future. And what he did, he developed a 300-year strategic plan for Panasonic, and it's still active. It's still valid. And
Oh,
this plan had time boxes like Scrum sprints, if you want, of 25 years. So,
mm,
the lifetime of Panasonic, let it be 300 years, could be divided in time boxes of 25 years. And for each of the 25 years, there is a similar pattern what should happen. There should
mm,
be growth areas and, maybe areas where it's condensing and the crisis and everything. So he prepared for that. And basically what he did, he's still being searched. So he's dead since 60 years or so. But still, I've seen that CEOs of Panasonic today, they go to his museum, when they can meet the mindset and the culture of Matsushita, and they ask him for advice, giving his long term thinking, and that's strategy. If you think about beyond your lifetime, if you think about your descendants, if you think about what you achieved in life and want to preserve it and want to make it sustainable. And there are other companies like that. Maybe they don't have 100 years plans, or maybe they don't share it. So if you look at IBM, my company, they exist since 1914, so same time, and they were grown up by Mr. Watson, who also led the company 30, 40 years and grew it, and his son followed him, and then it's still there. So IBM, is a stock company, and they pay dividends, and they always increase dividends from year to year.
mhm,
Since 100 and now what is this, 111 years.
mm,
And
mm,
so IBM stock is a very good investment still, and it grew in the past 4 or 5 years. Um, but that's also something which is in the DNA. Sometimes it's said, or the culture of a company. So I think if you look at the CEO, on a strategic level, it's important. I'm not sure if you have it on there, but the corporate culture. So what are we really dealing with? And to give you an example of IBM, also it's not true for Panasonic, but for IBM. IBM said we are helping business with computers, basically.
mm, mm,
And IBM several times tried to move into not out of B2B, no business for to business, into B2C, so to consumers, like Apple is doing, selling you an iPhone. So,
mm,
but they never succeeded. So IBM invented the PC, personal computer, and they
mm,
tried to sell it to consumers. They failed.
mm,
They did a lot of printing stuff, developing printers. They
mm,
tried to sell it to consumers. They failed.
mm,
So what they really concentrated on, and still concentrating today, is the B2B business. So
mm,
that's what you can learn from IBM. Stick with what you are doing good at,
mm,
and the failing is due to the culture of IBM too. Because all the thinking is about how to get profits from business. It's not about how to get profits from millions of customers.
mm, mm,
Like all these, if you have LinkedIn or Facebook, or all these are looking at individual customers, consumers. Even
mm,
Panasonic is looking at consumers. They're trying to sell you a shaver,
mm,
or whatever. But IBM, is understood after the PC failure, after the printer failure, that they should stay out of B2C business. It's
mm,
then when they tried to partner with Apple, but this was also not a big deal. Yeah.
mm. Very right. So that's very important that you have mentioned that resilience and looking forward in long term. That's important. That one should learn to see in the future beyond much beyond one's own life. What
Yes.
one can bring value to the community, to the businesses. And when you are making yourself valuable to the businesses, you will grow. Yeah, maybe you are not there in your, but the things will grow, and your business will grow. Thank you very much for this valid wisdom point. Thank you very much. Okay, let me move to the next area. And now we are going to the closing part of it. Here, I'm going to share with you what PMO strategies, the consulting setup is bringing to the businesses. Here, the businesses are supported with the diagnostic assessment of gaps in strategy and execution, which generally happens when businesses are moving in their city directions. They are not able to fill up their gaps, and that needs to be assessed, and that needs to be matched with the advancement. Then only the strategic advancement will bring the results. And for that, the PMO strategies brings the value and can help the businesses to move in that directions and help the businesses to have disciplined strategy execution. That's the important part of it. Second area is PMO functions. If the organizations have their own PMO, PMO strategies can help them out to evaluate the competence and the functions being provided by the PMO, and if required, it can be maximized with the support services. The third area is change management and cultural transformation, which is the basic requirement of every businesses to move on, because change management is the most critical part of it. And there the cultural advancements brings a real value, because if you are able to bring the value to the culture and you are able to form the required culture which is supportive of the business, then only you will make the success. So these two areas are highly critical, and PMO strategies helps out the businesses to move in that area. Leadership development, because without having a strong leadership, no cultural advancement and no change management can take place. So leadership development is most important, and that can be developed with the environment created in the organization. And PMO strategies has got the knowledge and the expertise to help in that area. And further on, it also helps in the training, because without proper training, no business can achieve these areas, and that training goes along with building resilience and adaptability in the teams and leaders, because without having these two qualities inbuilt into the leaders and into the teams, the businesses cannot move on. The second area is enhancing communication and collaboration, because without having effective communication, no businesses can move on. So developing the communication setup, plans, and efficacy, PMO strategies can help out the businesses. Driving innovation and creativity. When the organizations are strong in their adaptability and resilience, and they are having a strong communication, they can go on with the solving of the problems with the innovation and creativity. Innovation and creativity value has gone to a level where it is being said that the present time is essentially is an innovative economy. That means whatever economy advancements is going to take place is going to be through innovation and creativity. So that needs to be managed, and of course, without managing and making that system and making that environment, no business can excel in that area. The fourth area is developing strategic thinking and problem solving. The leaders, particularly, and the teams needs to be trained for strategic thinking and problem solving approach. So these areas can be helped by PMO strategies to businesses and to their leaders and to their teams. So with this, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for your learning interest. And before I close down, let me go back to our learned guest, Thomas. If you want to share anything more with the participants, which is valuable for them, please share that.
Well, yes, as we said, resilience, looking in the future. To give you one experience I had in New Zealand, when I talked with a board member who was a Maori, and he had it. He was on the board of the local NGO who took care about a beach with its animals and plants and so on. And I asked him, what is the purpose of your NGO? Is it keeping the beach clean or whatever? And he said, as a Maori, no, our purpose is to become good ancestors. That we are remembered 100 years from now as the guys who prepared the ground for their well-being.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And with this, I'm going to close it down. Thank you very much once again. If you have any question, any more clarity you may need, please feel free to reach out. And I will assure you that any question, any clarity from me and from Thomas, you will get it. And you will get it as soon as possible. So please feel free. And with this, thank you very much once again.
Thank you.